Hey friends, and welcome back to Old Mill Homestead. Today we're going to talk about, we just did a tour of the goat house. Today we're going to talk about the chicken coop and kind of what our thought process is as far as where do we want to build it, what makes the best sense, what's the best location. So we are currently in the goat yard, and here is the gate that goes into the dog yard. So here's the gate that goes into the dog yard, and then this all around is the goat yard. So originally our thought process was we're going to put the chickens in here. So let me show you where we're going to put them. We were going to put the coop probably in that corner over here. We're going to put a gate here because this is going to be the garden spot, all of that area there. So we were going to put a gate here and then have the coop and the run here in the goat yard. So there would be two lines of defense. There would be this fence that we need to do a little repair work on. When we built this fence, we had horses and cattle, so we were trying to keep them out. So we put it on the outside. Now we really need to redo this fence and put it on the inside because we're not going to have horses and cattle. We just need to work on keeping the goats in, which really hasn't been a problem, but I think we're going to redo the fence. But our thought process was putting the chicken coop here in this area, so there was a fence, like a double barrier, and then the fence. The problem with this location, the problem with that location is twofold. Number one, I'm not sure that this one here, Rue, I'm not sure that he won't be too rough on the chickens because so that's one concern. Number two is that from our back door, I can look out and check on the goats if they're in their house. So that's one reason why we put the goat house there, because I can easily look out and check on them. Even if I don't come out during the day, I can look out and check. Well, if we put the goat house over here, I can't do that. I mean the chicken coop over here, I can't do that. I won't be able to see them from the front door or the back door. So I would have to constantly come in and out to check on them. Now granted, I will be checking on them at least once a day, if not twice a day, checking on their water supply, checking on their feed, and checking on their egg production. But I don't know that I feel comfortable not being able to look out and see them. It's a protection thing for me. So that would lead us with either finding a different spot, which there are other spots that we could put the chicken coop. My first thought was we could put it here in this corner and run the run up here. I don't know if y'all can see. Let me see if I can. That's one of our cats way out there. Anyway, my first thought was putting it here and running the run here so that I could still keep an eye on them. My only concern with that is that it's literally at the corner, the back corner. Java's biting my shirt. It's literally at the back corner of the goat field. And we have all of this land, all of that woods, and it's tight. And we do have the occasional coyote that comes out. We've not had many. And our neighbor next door has chickens and pigs, and so he kind of keeps a close eye on the coyote situation. But my worry is that they're a little bit easier, a little bit more appetizing at the bottom of the field versus having to get through a fence, rue, and a coop to get to them. Now they are going to free range during the day when we're out some. We're going to get some of the Premier One fencing for both the goats and the chickens and have them work this land. It goes all the way over that hill, all the way back there, all the way over to that building, all the way back up front, and all the way past Mom and Dad's house. So all of this is the land that we're talking about. So that was one thing we had thought about, putting it in the goat yard. The second option, see if I can make a clean break out of here. The second option is, if you can tell, I just put the goats back up. So over here in the dog yard, which I can look out the window and I can see that they're okay. They can free range in here without me having to worry about the brute aggravating them. However, I would have 8 senior dogs to train to leave the goats alone. So their coop would be here, their pen would be here. I could look out the window and see that they were okay, come down the back steps, come out, collect the eggs, check the water, things like that. Now the water access it's about the same either way, whether we put it here, or there. The water access is in the front with a really long hose, so it's going to be about the same either way. It would probably be a smidge easier if it was up in that corner, just to be honest, because we'll have it stretched out for the garden anyway. But like I said, we're going to be having to train 8 senior dogs between the ages of 7 and 17 to get along with the goats. Now they're all pretty docile and friendly, but they get excited when they see something new in the yard. So like right now, he's barking at he's barking at Crow, who comes in and out all the time. So that's a concern. Now what our plan is regardless if we put the coop here, or there, what our plan is to have a coop big enough, and I'll insert some pictures, a coop big enough for 15 to, well, at least 15, because we're getting 15 chicks, but probably 20 chicks. And then also on top of that, look at, building it from scratch. So that's going to take a second, building the coop and the run from scratch. And then let's go up here and sit down. I'm going to let them play outside since it feels so good out here today. For a minute, let Mr. Gordy get some nice sunning time. I'll come up here and sit and talk. Okay, not the best lighting, but it's gonna do. So I'll insert some pictures of kind of ideas that we're going with, and if you guys have any suggestions on where you think might be the best option, I'm a little concerned about Rue, not overly concerned. I'm a little concerned about the dogs, not overly concerned. What I'm most concerned with is putting them in the safest place, and then also having a visual on them. Our temperatures are wild in Tennessee. We kind of make up our own as we go. Like I said, today is early February and it's 65 degrees out today. A couple days ago it was like 30, and then the lows were in the upper teens. So our weather's kind of all over the place, and in the summer it's hot and it gets up to 90 and 100, and then it's in the 60s and 70s at night, and quite frankly they're gonna start barking again because Scarecrow's over there. It just kind of bounces everywhere. We have days of really cold weather, and then we have really nice weather, which is never good in February and March for Tennessee to have warm temperatures this high, because typically that you start thinking about tornadoes. So, which growing up I don't remember much about us having tornadoes, but since the past probably 15 years it seems like they're a lot more prevalent than I recall growing up. So our main concerns are safety and visibility. So like I said, I know that I'm going to come out every day and check them, but I would like to be able to have a visual on them more than just once. And they are going to have the Premier One fencing and do some free ranging, both the goats and the chickens probably separately. So like I said, we have 13 acres around here to get them out and get them going. I don't necessarily want a mud pit in any spot that I keep the chickens. So that's kind of our thought process. We want to do a rain catchment system. We want to do automatic feeders and automatic waterers, and maybe both types of waterers, depending, like I said, if we have a cross beak or something there, or a special chicken that needs a little bit easier access to something. Our thought process is we're going to do the deep litter method on the coop, and so we'll pull that out 2 or 3 times a year and use that as fertilizer for the garden, as well as the goat area. Goats are talking, dogs are talking, chickens and ducks next door are talking, everybody's talking. It's a nice day. What can I say? It's a good time to talk. So I'll insert some pictures of things that we're looking for, but I would love your feedback. Those of you who have chickens, and if you don't know, then I'll tell you now, this is our first time. We're doing a lot of firsts. First time chicken owners, first time garden. Now Nick has worked gardens before as his extra job, his side job, but I have never done that. I just started cooking a few months ago, and so I'm gonna start canning. Everything's new to me. It's exciting and it's new, and I'm excited about it, but I want to be as knowledgeable as I can on each thing, because I don't want to make silly mistakes. I know that mistakes are going to happen because it's a lot of firsts. Like, I made some biscuits the other day and they were like hockey pucks, but with everything in me, I want to be as prepared as possible and not make simple mistakes. So if today's video is obviously not informative as far as a how-to, now I will video the process, video us building the coop and getting that prepared, but that probably will not be till April or May. The chicks are coming middle of June, and Nick works a lot, and then we have volunteer things that we do, and so we're not home a ton on the weekend, and so if it's not a good day, it's kind of hard for us to do it in February and March, because like I said, it tends to get cold. Now we're having a nice day today, but if you have any suggestions for placement on the coop, let me know. I do have enough knowledge to know that I can't just open the door and let the goats interact with the chickens. Hey, here you go. Same with the dogs. We've rescued animals our entire life, and so we know about introducing animals to one another and giving them time to adjust to one another. My thought process on the dogs was, if we did bring the coop out here, because the chickens will be free ranging in the backyard during the day. I'll come out and let them out in the morning and then put them up again at night. So when I let the dogs out to potty, then they'll be interacting. So my thought was to bring them out one at a time and just let them on a leash, let them get adjusted to the chickens. Inside, let them get adjusted to seeing the chicks every day, because they'll be, you know, inside for the first several weeks. So slowly introducing them one at a time, and I think that will work with really either side of it. I just Rue, you know, kind of the same with Stella, our Great Dane. They're both so big that occasionally they get excited and they might accidentally step on a chicken, and then that's over for the chicken. So trying to make sure that we have the exact right thing that we're doing. There's an area over to the side, which I've talked about in a different video. There's really not a place for them over there. Number one, we've got farm machinery over here, so it has to be able to come out. And that little area, there's a little area, probably 5 foot wide, maybe not quite that much width, but it floods when it rains and goes all the way back to the creek in the backyard. So I can't put a lot on that particular stretch, and obviously there's longer than 5 feet, but just trying to make the best decision for the knowledge that we have. So if you have any suggestions, let me know in the comments. They're greatly appreciated. Don't ever think that your comments aren't appreciated. Obviously, if they're mean-spirited, that's not appreciated, but you guys have told me so much. There's several of you that talked about I was not going to do indoor starts because our house, I mean, we're blessed. Let me first say that. We're blessed. We have 1,300 square feet. It's just the two of us and our kids, our children, our fur babies. So we're blessed. But I have anxiety and depression, and I didn't want a big tall metal shelving unit with lights everywhere, but I think we're gonna put it in the extra bedroom so that it's out of sight, kind of, and I can just go in there every day. That's also where we're gonna be keeping the chicks when they come in. And so, you told me, hey, listen, I know, if you're in Tennessee, you might really want to think about doing some starts on several different varieties, and so we are, and that'll be an upcoming video. You guys have helped me a bunch on cooking and the size of how to make. I was making rolls the other day, and I could not for the life of me figure out how to make 12 out of a round the round dough, and several of you got on there and helped me with that. A couple of you talked about covering things to keep them warm, just knowledge that probably all of you already have, but I don't, and it's appreciated. I really love it, because I love to learn, and I love to be knowledgeable. And before we bring any animal home, anything, before we decided to do the garden, before we decided to do the chickens, before we brought the goats home, any of the dogs that we've rescued over the years, dogs and cats, we research, do we have the funds? Can we, in particular with the dogs and cats, do we have the money to get them spay neutered? Do we have the money to get them their vaccines? Do we have the money to get them flea and tick and heartworm? Do we have the money to, when they get older, to financially support them and get them the meds and the things they need? And then the same with the chickens and the goats and the garden and the canning and the equipment, because my kitchen was flat basic. Like, everybody's like, oh, everybody has a stock pot. Never had a stock pot in my life. Everybody has a blender. I got a blender 2 years ago. Everybody has a food processor. Never had a food processor. I got one a month or so ago. So all these things that everybody has, I've never had. So it's all new knowledge to me, and it's appreciated. So if you think, by looking at the surrounding area, if you can think of where it might be the best location, your comments are always welcome, always welcome. And so yeah, that's it. Like I said, I'll insert some pictures throughout the video to kind of show you our thought process on what we're thinking about doing. We've got some scrap left over that we can do a lot of it with without having to go buy material. We do have about $150. We use this is not a plug, but this is we use Fetch and Ibotta, which are apps that you can get points back for all your purchases. Fetch in particular for any purchase, any purchase, literally. If you purchase clothing, food, gas, anything, you get a minimum of 2.5 cents back per purchase. And then Ibotta is usually item and store specific, but we've been saving that up, and so we've got about $150 we can cash out and get gift cards to Lowe's probably, and get some material for the chicken coop. So we have options, and we also have some scrap that we're going to try to use too. So yeah, so this we're excited. I'm looking forward to doing the chicken coop, and I hope if you guys have some good comments, please don't ever feel like you can't leave them, or she's gonna think that I'm telling her she doesn't know what she's doing, because quite honest, I don't. We do have general knowledge, and I'm a big proponent of studying before you get into something, and not just studying one source or one type. So reaching out to people that have, in particular chickens. So we're talking about chickens, so reaching out to people that have had chickens all their life in my area and talking to them about it. Looking at coop designs of people that we know, getting on the internet and just reading articles after articles, watching some YouTube videos, kind of hitting all the bases to get the knowledge. But some of the best knowledge that I've gotten is just from people that know it and have done it and can contribute. And eventually what that will help in the long haul is in 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years, I'll be able to help others who are asking these same questions that I'm asking. And that's what it's all about, right? Helping each other and just being there for one another, and being good humans, just being kind, loving people, and supporting one another. And that's to me, that's what it's all about. So we will see you guys in the next one. I'm not sure what order the video is going to come out in, but we're also working on tonight. I'm going to be working on a potato soup recipe, which is a mixture from one of my moms and then one I found online. I'm pretty excited about that. Typically it would be a little cooler, but Nick's not gonna be home till late, so probably by the time he gets home it'll be a little chilly out, so maybe that'll make the soup idea even better. We will see you guys in the next one. I hope you have a great one, and it was good to talk to you. Bye.